Hey now. It's Thursday night, about 7:21 in the evening, February 6th. And a lot of times I'm so laid back at this time I don't usually want to do a video. But I'm gonna see if I can gather some momentum once I get started here. I've been in the studio all afternoon with Indrima. I'm actually pretty excited about this upcoming record that we're making. Band has really come a long way from, and then the first Indrima album was really a solo project with myself and many people helping Nick. But this new stuff we're working on and recording in the studio, ARC Studios, Mike Mogus and Connor Oberst's endeavor, it's really going well. And so I'm home from that and relaxed. I am sipping an evening cup of coffee. It really is like a food to me. And I get plenty of sleep, so it's not an issue regarding my sleep pattern. I get home from the studio and there's a package on my front stoop. I don't have a porch, I just have a front step. And the mailbox is too small for, but I saw that it wasn't a record. And so I could see that, well, it's probably a book. You know, it looked like it could be, you know, some CDs, a bunch, but I thought to myself, this is probably a book. And this is from someone I do not know, Brooke. I think you sent me stuff before. Thank you. It's very thoughtful. Now, I just got it, so, you know, but this book, this person, I don't know if it's a male or a female, I really don't, said that because I had mentioned solitude in a recent video, they sent me this book, Solitude, Seeking Wisdom in Extremes, A Year Alone in the Patagonia Wilderness. I will read it, or I will attempt to read it, see if it captures me. What I already know from some personal experience as well as study is that solitude and extremes are both ways of learning and expanding oneself, depending on how one goes about it. It can be damaging. It can also be very beneficial. It can be both. So it'd be interesting to see what this man puts himself through and what he learns. I do endeavor to say, even though I don't know anything, I do think that the one thing that everyone learns ends up being kind of the same thing. We say it in different ways, but I think we're just searching for ourselves. We're searching everywhere, but we are everywhere and everything. They also sent a CD along with it, and I just played about a third of it, and this is wonderful. I just love stuff like this. Tor Lundvall, Insect Wings, Leaf Matter, and Broken Twigs. Early ambient recordings, 1991 to 94. Oh boy, do I like this. And this is very much music. It's not noise, this is music. And the way that he has weaved these sounds together this is beautiful. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for sending me quality and being of quality. Thank you for sending me high quality stuff. Thank you for recognizing that I am, in spite of my personal flaws, including the ones you can see, like my fucked up teeth, you know, I'm a high quality individual. I say that because I'm aware that I could be, could be doing much worse things. I'm going to show some more music, but I'm going to talk because it's the evening. And I thought to myself, see, I said, do I get warmed up? We'll see, here we go. You know that I mix everything up in my videos. I talk about whatever I want to talk about. But because I do value myself, and I like things of interest, quality. It's a word that goes along with things of interest, things that are well done, things that are thoughtful. It's why the majority of the world leaders and my president, I hate to call it that, but the president of the country I live in, Trump, don't get a pass. That's not high quality, what they're up to. They may have money so they can have high quality stuff, but they are not high quality people. Or if they are, they're showing their asses so they don't get a pass. I see what's going on in the world with politics and social trends and stuff, and it's like it's a nightmare. It's a disaster. I don't swallow the baloney. So thank you for sending me and enriching my life with this good stuff. I'm going to mention this, and I'll tell the band that I mention it. A local band gave me their CD. Well, most of the band are mates of mine, and one of them, Blake, is a good friend. He's in the band Funk Trek, as well as he's in several other bands. He's a good musician, trumpet player. But Funk Trek has just released their latest CD. They may have 5 or 6 out now. This is called Plasticity. And the artist who did the artwork, Conrad Hines, happens to be, I consider him a friend. He's someone I've known since he was a child on the punk rock scene. We're still friendly. He's wanted to do artwork for me, but I can't afford him. He did this. I like his other work. I talked to the band. Well, I talked to a couple of the guys in the band trying to find out what this cover is about, and they said, well, the bass player, Tom, who's the leader of the band, it's his vision, it's his idea. So they don't know. They just go along with it. Just like the name, it's a white band, but thankfully they're not an average white band sort of funk. Although there's an aspect of that, but they've gone beyond it, thank goodness. The band is good, it's tight, they are actually funky. Tom writes some interesting material that highlights the tightness of the band. There's this... See, I have to say this, and if it sounds critical, that's probably just because it's just a very honest observation about Omaha and Omaha music. This band, and it seems like a fair amount of Omaha bands, well, the bands that get popular and pull in big crowds, they have this island sort of thing that they blend into their music. I think it has something to do with us being in the Midwest and a lot of people liking to fantasize about going to the coast or going to Jamaica and shit. So this is funky, like almost like Earth, Wind, and Fire, Tower of Power. But then you get this island sort of thing, slinky thing, almost reggae. It's mostly, I think it's all instrumental. I haven't made it all the way through, but I thought I'd go ahead and give this a review. I have most of their CDs, and do I hear progress in what they're doing? Yes, I do. I do. But at the same time, this is the sort of thing where, to my ears, it's made for their audience. It's like a souvenir for people who come to the shows and want to go home and listen to the music. It doesn't play to me like they are intending for this to try to do anything other than that. They're very talented. Tom Renan, the leader, is a very good bass player. Has funk on the level, on the surface, I'd say he probably has funkier chops than me, but that's just the difference in the way we play. I could play exactly what he plays, but I'm giving him credit. I recognize he's a good bass player. So that's Funk Trek. Okay, given the Dereck treatment, also the fact that it's me kind of laid back and I just say what's on my mind. For better or worse, I think I'm improving with my tact, mostly. The things that I say that seem tactless or that rub people the wrong way, that is definitely on purpose. And I had made a comment on Facebook about something that came up at the studio where some of the people weren't so sure that I needed to make the comment. I said, well, you just missed my point. I know what I'm trying to say. It's too bad it doesn't come across. Your response just shows me how bad things are. What I tried to point out was something I thought was really obvious, but apparently it's not, and that's just how bad things are socially. Played most of this today because I heard from Brett, and I'm getting ready to do some stuff to send to Brett, which means before the end of the month I'm going to get rolling on some tracks. But Moonmen, number 3, their last album, their last full-length, he tells me they have a EP he's going to send me. Apparently he had sent it, but it never made it here. I don't have it. But I hadn't listened to this for a while, and Moonmen, which is involves Dave Newhouse of the Muffins and some other folks. I like this, and it's not on purpose, but there's this Canterbury aspect. Jerry King is on here, Brother Jerry, and Bill Youngworth. It's like there's a comfort and almost like a living room aspect to some of the way the music comes across. It's like, it's very inviting. But I'll tell you today, the track that really tripped my trigger was number 4. It's not the best one here, but it's the one that really connected today. The Dark Side of the Moon is Dark for a Reason is track number 4. And I highly recommend this if you don't have this. Moonmen number 3. You're working on something new, I understand. This was a good listen. It's good stuff. And I'm glad those guys are my friends and musical associates. I'm going to go through what's sitting down here, and I'm just going to go until I'm done, because I'm going to let this video upload. It'll probably be a video for Friday. This probably will not make it online until Friday. Today was Tim Blake's birthday, a synthesizer player, keyboardist who was with Gong for a while, on and off. I only have this one of his solo albums. This is from 1977, Crystal Machine. It is very much in the Gong, clear light orchestra, bubbly, spacey, cosmic, electronics type of thing. Crystal Machine is in the picture. That's what you hear. It's a good album. I hadn't played it in a long time. Had been thinking about playing it in a long time. Got through one side of this. Going to play some more of this. Love this band from Finland with an American singer, Wigwam. Tombstone Valentine. This is one of their first albums. And this came out in America. This is the American version. It's a DJ copy. Can't remember how long ago I found this, decades ago. But it's a white label promo, which I'm the kind of collector, because of my background and how I got into records. I like promos. I value them. I learned many years ago that collectors in different countries don't think much of promos at all, but I like them. And this is real good. Progressive, but pop and rock also. I mean, there's also a big country aspect to this, as well as the jazziness and the bluesiness. Double album. Wigwam, this is really good. They have an album called Fairyport, which is the one of theirs that I don't have on vinyl. I've never owned it. I want that. I want that album. Great sampler. Now, this was given to me by, interesting, a vinyl community member who came on, was very interesting, very intense, super amazing record collection, and then he met a woman and he's gone. Now, I'm not downing that, but what I am saying is I'm aware that there are a fair amount of people who collect and do stuff like this, unlike me. They're sublimating. If they could have what they really want, this stuff would go out in the trash. I've seen it many times where people are way into music and then they get married or they meet that someone and it's like the music doesn't exist, or at least plays this part of it. But he sent this to me along with some other very nice records years ago. And this is a Nova sampler. This is like something I would, I really value this because it'd be like, heck, if I could have ever gotten a copy of this in Omaha, by chance, Nova was the progressive part of Decca Records along with Dereck. And the bands on here, the artists, Jan Dukes de Grey, Bill Fay, Egg, one of my favorites, Pacific Drift, Aardvark, I was just talking about them. So, really cool sampler. Someone online was playing some Sigur Ros, and I thought to myself, I haven't bothered to just listen to some Sigur Ros. They're the kind of band that it's like I have to just like sink into it and let it happen. So I played this, the, whatever you call this punctuation mark here. And this is the 2002 edition with the die-cut cover, double album. I do quite like, actually I played 2 of the 4 sides. Because it's like either I have like about 5 of their albums. For me, it's the sort of thing that I just melt into it, or I don't get into it and I take it off. But love this music, and John Z, I believe is his name. He has this made-up language, but to me it sounds like he's just saying the same thing over and over and over again on every record. It sounds like the same syllables. No big deal to me, like I said. It's the overall effect that I'm after. John Hassell. He came up. Someone mentioned that his first solo album, Vernal Equinox, is being reissued. It's kind of rare. I have it. I bought it when it came out. I've been all over this music as much as possible. Like I said, unlimited income and being here in Omaha, and access has been an issue. But somehow I was able to grab this and some other lovely records. I didn't keep them all. I sold some. Kept this. This is really something. This is coming out, a reissue. But this is, I believe, his most recent album. Listening to Pictures. Pentimento, Volume 1. Ooh, this man is 81 years old, but he still sounds like the future. This is so killer. It really sounds like he is on to something and no one else is doing it. Hardly anyone else is doing it. And no one sounds like this. John Hassell. His horn sound with electronics is so trademarked that it's a sound that you get in sound banks. Patch is a patch. On synthesizers, I've got it in my Reason. I've used it. It's gorgeous. Got into some Curved Air, English progressive pop rock band from the 70s. This originally came out as a picture disc. I remember when it was in the stores, I couldn't afford it. I was so intrigued by it, What is that, However, this is another promo. I've had this for a long time. This is another white label promo. Classically influenced, as well as a mixture of folk. Really good band. Sonia Christina on vocals. Daryl Way was the feature on violin. Really liked this first album a they come out from from the beginning sounding very original. And they're back together. But the one that I played, the one that really got me going last night was this Aircut, which is more of a pop. It's more on the pop side, and it starts off with a bang. Eddie Jobson on synthesizers and violin, who we all know from UK, Roxy Music, Jethro Tull, you name it. He joined the band at this time. I believe he was still a teenager. And his playing and his contribution to the band is notable. This is a really good album, and yeah, that should have been the front. I guess they were trying to go for the mediocrity of the masses. We'd like to have a hit, so we'll give you. I don't know. I do think that is part of the sale tactic, is make it as bland as possible to appeal to the largest number of people. This is a great album. Haven't played in a long time. Mexican band, Los Dug Dugs. This is from the 70s. This is called Smog, reissue. This is the reissue of a 1970s something album of theirs. Rocks hard. There's flute, and so it kind of makes you, sort of think of like Jethro Tull, but no, it's more frantic. This is really driving. Double bass drums. The guy plays the double bass drums on, and there's a solo on here, and he plays it to the point that he loses it. They keep recording. He just picks it back up and pulls it back together. I think it's, one of those special moments. It's like, it's an endurance thing that he's doing to get through the song, and probably no matter how many times they did it, probably the few times that he probably got it right, there wasn't a tape recorder in the building. But this is really awesome. Dug Dugs. San Francisco band Hammer. A mixture of hard rock, blues, kind of gospel-y, Americana, 1970. I think the reason why this band didn't break, because they were good, and some of the musicians on here, particularly John Guerin, the drummer, went on to big things with Joni Mitchell and LA Express, Spring Zappa. But the programming of this album, I think, is horrid. Every other song is slow. It starts off with a bang, and the second song is slow. Then it picks back up with the feature of the whole album, Twain, which is a really rocking song where the singer does the scat, and he does it really, really good. And then the next one is a bluesy, and the whole album is like that. And I think that killed it, in my opinion. I think I could just imagine this, someone putting this on at a party, and it starts good, and then that next song is like, oh, this goes, and it never came back. It's a good album. I would just have sequenced it differently. Glad I still have it. On the San Francisco label. Wait, let me open this up. This is a cool label. Okay, since we're sharing all this stuff, and the primary thing, like I said, I've said a couple of my thoughts about social stuff. So I'm focusing on the music now. But this is a cool label. San Francisco. Isn't that nice? Brings to mind Bill Graham. I wonder if he had anything to do with getting this label going. Cold Blood was a well-known band on here. And Tower of Power started out on this label before they went to Warner Brothers. Good stuff, huh? Yeah. Nice to have a day or two where I haven't heard about any artists dying, but that doesn't mean that someone hasn't. I just haven't heard about. Well, I take that back. No. Okay, never mind. The Weathermen from Belgium, Take It Off. This is a 12-inch single, their first. And I really like this. And I heard this on an underground, some kind of radio show. And it just, I really like this, Had it forever. And, years ago, I became friends with Jean-Marc Letterman of the Weathermen, who also was a member of Fad Gadget. So I posted this yesterday while listening to it, because I still really like it. It's really primitive electro. And then, so he writes back up today, gets back to me and says, well, of course, there's a story behind it. And it's enlightening because he tells the truth of the story, which is that they weren't happy with this. This was their first chance in the studio. They barely had any equipment. It sounds like it. But the fact that it actually sounds matter of fact. It sounds really blah. But somehow that makes the beat cooler. It sounds like they don't care. But it sounds affected. But he's saying, in fact, they just weren't happy with what was going on. Isn't that interesting? Okay. Heard back from Nebular Wave. And let's give this another thumbs up. My last video, I gave it a full review, and I recommend this. Who is this now? This is Ferdinand Richard, bass player from the band Étrange Poulet Le Blanc. Now, I don't speak the language, and this is some kind of story. So I don't know what it's about, but the music is intriguing, and there is one song on here where it's primarily music. It's I think it's the last song on the album. It's so good. I played it. I had to repeat it like 3 times last night. I was like, man, this is unusual. If you've heard Étrange Poulet Le Blanc, they sound like no one else. It's rock in opposition, progressive in that Zool almost vein, like Art Zoid, Henry Cow, in that area. This is really good. And Tom Cora on cello, plays cello on here. He was a friend, I think he's passed, but he's a friend. He was a friend of Dave Newhouse of the Muffins, who's on here. Dave speaks highly of Tom Cora. They played music together. I spoke of Egg, and something I had never done before in posting my Egg albums. I always show this, my pristine copy of it. But in fact, I actually got the record as a kid from a radio station as a promo. And so this is my original copy, which I played to death. When I got this as a promo from the radio station, it had not even been released yet. So I've had this since 1970. And this blew my mind. This is before I heard Genesis. I had heard the Nice and stuff. But this was like, whoa, this is way cooler than the Nice. And so I've played the absolute hell out of this album. Dave Stewart, Mont Campbell, Clive Brooks. One of my absolute favorite records of all time. And it's so, the cover is so ring-worn because, I'll tell you the truth, I didn't learn about record care until I was out of high school. I was, honestly, I loved records and music, but I was a kid. And so I used to take this everywhere to parties. I was making my friends listen to this. I took it everywhere with me. And that's why it's like this. Love this album. Love this music. Canterbury. It's like America doesn't even know about this, And in my mind, these guys are at the head of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In my Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Soft Machine and Egg, and other than the historical aspect of, what the Rolling Stones and bands like that and Leonard Skinner have done, when you talk about popularity and numbers and culture and how they've impacted that, I can't take that away from them. But in my mind, the quality of music and what I think is more deserving, it's like it's too good for the average public. These guys deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame worldwide, in my opinion. It's my inner enthusiasm about the music, folks. Besides living and breathing, it's one of the most important things in life to me is music and art. It only comes after honoring life itself, you know, not just people, but animals, you know, and trying to be respectful to the planet. Then come the arts. And music is right at the top of the stack for me. Quiet Sun, Mainstream. You know, this album was made by Phil Manzanera of Roxy Music. When he joined Roxy Music, he was able to finagle some studio time to get this done. But this was a band that he had before he joined Roxy Music. Bill McCormick, who's a friend of mine online on bass, who went on to Matching Mole. Charles Hayward, who's a friend of mine. I just talked to him yesterday. He gave me some. I posted this, and then he gave me some little tip about. What did he say about the artwork? I'd have to look it up. I love it when I post stuff, and then I hear from the artists themselves. That to me, again, is another dream come true about my life. You know, I used to fantasize when I was a kid, a teenager, about being one of these people, you know, that they'd be my friends, and now they are. It's very rewarding. And this is a wonderful album. If you've never heard, this is so good. So good. Just so good. If you know the band Rain Parade, they nicked the idea for their cover from this. Rain Parade. Take a look if you haven't. I think that's everything that I'm looking. And I'm not looking at the time because it always gets me to stop. I'll say this, though, right quick. I'll probably mention this album again because it is not released yet by L'Amour Records. So I'm going to come back in AB. I can't even see her name. It's the ambient thing about the Marianas Trench. But this comes out at the end of the month, so I will bring it up again because I don't think you can find any information about this online yet. Okay? Oh man, this is a long video. I better stop. Stupid Morning Bullshit is on today or tomorrow. By the time you see this, it'll be on at 5 Eastern, 4 Central, and whatever else. There should be a segment of mine. And a week from tomorrow, it's going to be live from my house. Wow. I keep forgetting. I got to just finish this up. See, so much is going on. I have completely forgotten to tell you that Egypt, this woman that I have been working with, she's a reggae artist. I wrote some tunes for her that she took to Jamaica and has launched into a career. She has signed a deal with Tough Gong International, Bob Marley's record label. Her first single is out digitally. It's just a digital single, but it's out. Paycheck. It's out now. Now that's not one of my tracks, but I wrote 3 tracks for her, you know, reggae style, because I love Egypt, and she just is inspiring. But 2 of my tracks are on the album. My production, my playing, my writing. You're going to be on this Tough Gong. It's released this month. If I understand correctly, it will be a physical release. That there will be a CD. It won't just be digital. And of course, I'm fully credited. So exciting, you know, to be on have more of my music on a label, another big label, Tough Gong. Wow. Matter of fact, Egypt is in Jamaica now, and she's about to do, and it's being advertised big, she's going to do a record release, an album release. And she's the feature with all these other artists. And she's in the middle. In Kingston. So they'll be playing my tracks. I'm just, wow. Cool stuff. I'm very thankful. Very thankful because it's about the music and the art. That's what it's about.